The government totally understands the strength of feeling. Of course, as a government, we talk to farmers frequently. That's why we've committed, as we did at the budget, £5 billion more for food production and for conservation to make sure that farming is viable. That's crucial. We've also committed to our 25-year farming roadmap, which the NFU have said is badly overdue. So we are making very positive changes to support British farming.
So let's get more on this with the Director of External Affairs at the Countryside Alliance, Mo Metcalf-Fisher. Morning, Mo. Good to see you again. They are completely on your side. He's just given a list of reasons as to why farmers can trust this Labour government.
Well, I have a different version of events, and I think all the farmers that have taken part in the recent protests, not just in London but all up and down the country, feel. I mean, look at their behaviour the other day at the Treasury meeting between the NFU and the CLA and those farming representative organisations. It was appalling the way that they treated the NFU and the CLA, to bring them to the table and then effectively just say, what do you want? And
they said, we're here because you've asked to see us. They didn't say we're here because we want to come to some sort of resolution.
Well, that's exactly what the NFU have said, that's what they were presented with. And it actually, I mean, I've been following the events quite closely, and they'd also briefed the Times ahead of that. It was basically a bit of a show. I think they wanted a bit of theatre, and they wanted to show that they were the bosses, but it's just not the right. You know, dealing with farmers in that way is not the right. It's not some tough versus tough. It's farmers are there struggling to keep their businesses open, trying to keep it going, and have been incredibly peaceful and have built up huge amounts of public support. I actually thought that the government looked really ugly, and also I'll go back to when Keir Starmer got in a bit of a tiff because someone blew a horn at some housing announcement he made, and then he decided that he would basically accuse farmers of not wanting to fund the NHS, which is preposterous. I mean, it's complete nonsense. I think when it comes to this issue, the government know they've lost. That's why they're getting themselves worked up, but ultimately it's going to come down to Labour MPs, and that's what every single demonstration is about. It's about trying to connect with those.
They've got a majority of 107.
They do.
And how are you ever going to overturn that?
Well, it's not for us to overturn it, but it is for us to lobby them. And it's I said at the start of all this is going to be a long battle. It's one that farmers are energised enough and their supporters are energised enough to take part until the bitter end. But it is having an effect. I mean, we had at the weekend another Labour MP, Henry Tufnell from Pembrokeshire, coming out and saying he joins the calls for a rethink.
He's part of a farming dynasty.
He certainly is, and he should know exactly what farmers feel. I mean, Pembrokeshire, I don't know how well you know it. You've got a guest coming up on the show who's very familiar with Pembrokeshire.
Yes.
Knows that farming is part of the DNA of that constituency. Whether you're involved in it or not, it's part of the fabric of life there. So for him to have not supported our cause would have been electoral. Suicide. Yeah, it would have been a total disaster.
I think it's important to remind people why this matters to farmers. It isn't that you're just saying we don't want to pay tax. You're saying what?
Well, no, we're saying that the policy is going to, as it stands, is going to wipe out small and medium-sized family farms. That's that strong network of farms up and down the country that feed us.
Because they have to sell the farm to pay the...
Oh, they will do. So many of the people I speak to will not be able to make that payment. They're going to have to sell off land. It's going to become...
And the government say, well, you do have 10 years, Mo Metcalf-Fisher, to pay it back.
Well, 10 years to pay. I mean, they don't have the money now. I mean, you know, 10 years is it doesn't matter.
If you have to pay £500,000 and you've got to pay that 50 grand a year, but you only make 25 grand a year profit, it's not going to stack up.
It's not. And look, the show this morning has just been focused on world affairs. It's absolutely mad that at the moment, with everything going on, that we're going to threaten our national food security. And it's all very well going on the world stage and talking about world events, absolutely, Keir Starmer. But what about here at home? What about our food security?
Yeah, absolutely.